Hey guys, this is the classical homeopath. I'm just going to be doing another general info on homeopathy kind of thing. And I'm going to be reading off of this website, which is the website of the academy where I qualified. By the way, you can actually do a consultation with me if you're interested. You can get in touch with me. And the quality of the treatment will be guaranteed by the fact that I actually qualified at this place, which is one of the top schools of homeopathy. And you can even look me up on the register of this website. And if you're interested in a consultation, I'll give you my name and you can look me up on the list of qualified practitioners. So let's get into it. I'm going to read this and then comment on it. So the word homeopathy is made up of the Greek words homoios, meaning similar, and pathos, meaning disease. The main law on which homeopathy is based is the law of similars, which means diseases are treated by remedies that can produce similar symptoms to those of the patient. So basically, coffee causes sleeplessness, and to treat coffee, we're going to give, to treat sleeplessness, we're going to give coffee as a remedy. That is the basic principle. But of course, it's much more complicated than that, right? The effects or the symptoms that are produced by a remedy or a substance are not always as obvious as coffee, right? So what we need to do in homeopathy is something called provings. The symptoms that a remedy can produce are found by an experimental process called provings. So you need to test any new remedy on a healthy person to see what kind of symptoms they cause. These are recorded, and then later when you have a patient in front of you, you can look that up and then choose the remedy based on the extensive testing. This is why homeopathy is an empirical form of medicine. It's a scientific form of medicine. Well, it's not a pure science like biology or physics. It's an applied science, but it's scientific. It's empirical. We always give the same remedy when you have a specific symptom. We always give the same remedy, or symptom picture, should I say? So we're giving remedies based on symptom pictures, not single symptoms, right? So that's a little complicated for you, but we're giving remedies based on all the characteristics of a patient, mental, physical, emotional, and we're looking at the totality or the picture. So we're not just looking at like sleeplessness, one symptom, and then we're not just giving coffee, homeopathic coffee, based on one symptom. So it's much more complicated than that. So here it is, the complicated stuff, the law of similars. In Latin, similia similibus curantur. The system is based mainly on the principle that that the cure for a particular disease is achieved through the use of pharmaceutical substances that, when administered to a healthy person, produce the similar symptoms as those of the disease in question. So this is what we were talking about. For example, it is well known that belladonna causes mydriasis. That is to say, the dilation of the pupil of the eye. In a case of mydriasis, the homeopathic doctor will probably give belladonna in a highly diluted potency in order to restore the pupil to its normal state. Well, that's if, this was written for, I think, just the general public, so it's written in a simplistic fashion, but it's much more complicated than that. As I said, we were looking at the symptom pictures and not just single symptoms. Another example is digitalis, which is used in conventional medicine to suppress episodes of paroxysmic ventricular tachycardia, and because of this action, it's made use of in homeopathy for the cure of bradycardia, with a weak pulse and a tendency to faint, irregular breathing, general exhaustion, anorexia, tendency to vomit. You can see that, you can see that there's a symptom picture here now, right? You can, this is what I was talking about. This can be a symptomatology that fits not only with heart disease, but with chronic disturbance of the liver, or an infectious hepatitis, or an asthmatic crisis, blah, blah, blah. This principle was formulated by Hahnemann with the Latin motto, similia similibus curantur. Similars are cured with similars. Hahnemann believed this to be one of the fundamental laws of cure. The idea had first been mentioned by Hippocrates, then by Paracelsus, and later by others. And while conventional medicine believes that it must fight the disease-bearing factor, which it sees as the main cause for disease, homeopathy believes that it must strengthen the organism's defense mechanism in order to fight the imbalance. Yeah, that's true. We're not fighting the disease symptom. We're looking at the symptom totality to discover the energetic imprint which the patient's organism is craving for in order to boost the immune system on a holistic level, right? So strengthen the vibrations, etc. It's really complicated. I can't get into it too deep, but something like that. Proving the remedies in order to ascertain the therapeutic qualities of pharmaceutical substances, Hahnemann carried out provings of the remedies on healthy persons of both sexes in increased dosages, though not beyond the toxic levels. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about. This is how homeopathic remedies are discovered. The reactions to the pharmaceutical substances gained in this manner were recorded in minute detail. This list of remedy symptoms incurred on relatively healthy organisms, having been repeatedly ascertained, together with the toxicological symptoms of various substances known from existing medical writings, were combined to form a valuable part of the homeopathic pharmacology, otherwise known as materia medica. It's a very complicated process. It's not just taking something, taking a wild guess and then coming up with some kind of conjecture. It's an extremely extensive scientific process, and also a lot of so-called modern homeopathic kind of innovators, so-called innovators, come out with new remedies, and they claim to have proven stuff. But in classical homeopathy, we stick to the originally proven remedies, because this is a process which we can't really perform, in the modern age. We don't have the tools to perform complex toxicological studies on people. We don't have the know-how to perform extensive homeopathic proving. So it's best to use the originally developed classical remedies. That is my advice. Hahnemann's main theories. On the basis of the law of similars and pharmacological provings on healthy individuals, Hahnemann proceeded to develop an entire medical system. He published a complete account of his theories for the first time in his book Organon of the Healing Art in 1810. Right, so 1810, basically that was the start of homeopathy, but the book contains 294 aphorisms within which he develops the laws of his medical system. Later he published the book Materia Medica Pura, in which all the pharmacological substances that he and his students had proved on themselves and to others were included. So Hahnemann was a master alchemist, a master of all the sciences of the time, and probably an occultist, and someone who was initiated into maybe secret societies, and I think that's how he came up with this method, or rediscovered this method, which probably existed before him. But this is the one here when homeopathy was officially founded. He also published the book Chronic Diseases, in which he maintained that all chronic diseases are a result of the suppression of either skin diseases or the skin or syphilis or gonorrhea. That is to say that if these three categories of diseases were treated wrongly, they remain within the organism in a suppressed state, in a changed form, and finally they reappear as various kinds of chronic diseases. Hahnemann named these three initial forms of disease the miasms of psora, syphilis, and psychosis, meaning gonorrhea. So basically, he said that suppressed infectious diseases basically travel and are passed on through the generations and add more and more burden on the immune system, onto the immune system, and then creating a kind of degeneration, and which is actually apparent. We can see the health of most people has deteriorated extensively, and this can be a contributing cause to that. Some of the essential points of homeopathy which complete the law of similars are: there are no diseases, but only patients. So we have to individualize every case. You can't give the same remedy for the same disease to every patient that you meet. You have to individualize the remedy based on the unique characteristics of each patient. The appropriate remedy must match every one of the patient's symptoms. By symptoms here, they mean that it must match the mental, emotional, and physical characteristics, not just disease symptoms, but characteristics and peculiarities of a patient. The quantity of remedy required for a cure to be successful is infinitely small, on the condition that the true remedy has been found. So we only give one dose of a remedy in homeopathy, in classical homeopathy, as if you have individualized a remedy well enough, it will initiate a healing reaction which does not require the repetition of a remedy or large doses, right? That is kind of like the principle of vaccination, which says that the immune system can be excited to perform certain things when it's triggered with small amounts of a substance or a virus. It's kind of the similar principle, with the caveat that, of course, vaccination does not work at all. And then we have individualizing each case. We talked about this. According to this idea, 10 patients suffering the same disease, for example, epilepsy, will probably each require a separate pharmaceutical substance unless the symptoms of 2 or 3 of them are identical down to the last detail. A rare but not impossible situation. By pharmaceutical substance, we mean homeopathic remedy. All right, that's the first part of this website review, and I'll see you guys later.